Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for April 10th, 2022. That's Cooper, who has to be involved. Anyway, so this week was a good reading week because work was just so stressful and so mind-numbing in a lot of ways that I think I just kind of dove into what books I was reading, and they were all very fast reads, so pretty much that helped quite a bit as well. So I actually finished 6 things. One of them I was finishing something that I'd started a couple months ago, and then another one was like a novella, and then everything else is they're kind of smaller books. They're nothing too big. So it wasn't like I read a huge amount of pages. I mean, I've definitely, my average so far this year this month is so much higher than normal because I have been reading a lot of pages, but you know, they're not gigantic books, so it's not quite as impressive as it says when I said I finished 6 things in a week. But we'll get into that. So other than that, there's not much else going on. It's just as I said, work has just been very mind-numbing. I'm closing in on kind of the end of all the stuff I need to do for the parts room, so my brain is melted because of all the things I'm trying to get done here at the end, and I don't want to do it. I have to fight myself to go to work some days. I think that's normal. I'm just stressed out. So anyway, reading has definitely been my escape this week. As I said, I've done a lot of it. And I bought more books in the last couple days than I probably should have. So darn it, I was trying to be so good and I just blew that. Just always. Anyway, so let's talk about the books I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So I was rereading Neon Gods by Katie Robert, I think on Sunday. So I had I had quite a bit of this book still left to go. I think I just barely restarted it, or to reread it. This is the first book in the Dark Olympus series, and again, it's one of my so far it's one of my favorite books so far this year. So it was great to reread it, even though it's only been 3 months. But I really enjoyed the reread. I liked reading it again because I wanted to continue in the series, and it just gave me an excuse to do it. So it's a Hades Persephone retelling in this book, and I liked this one a lot. I'm finding that I'm very particular about my Hades and Persephone retellings. They have to do certain things or change, from the myth. So this is more power hungry people who are in Olympus. So it's very much like modern day. It is modern day, but it's this place called Olympus, and people are kind of trapped there. And Persephone is planning to leave when she, in a couple months, when she hits her birthday, her trust fund becomes available. But she gets set up by her mother and Zeus to become Zeus's next Hera. And it's a power struggle there. And it's her reaction to what happens. And then Hades gets involved. And I love Hades. Hades is one of my favorite heroes. I do love him. Anyway, so it was great to do the reread. I really, really enjoy the series, as you'll see in a minute. But I love this book. So I was glad to reread that. So I'm glad I got that done. I finished that like around dinner time on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to read next? I really was going to jump into the next book in that series, and then I thought, you know what? Let's finish one of the currently reading books on my TBR that I haven't got through. And again, this is one that on my Goodreads is the whole collection, so you can't really tell that I finished this, but I finished Valley of Fear by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, which is the last of the novels of Sherlock Holmes. I read most of it earlier in the year. I think it was January or February. I think it was February where I started that. And again, I'm trying to get through I have only 2 more collections of short stories to get through, and then I've read everything of Sherlock Holmes. This is the farthest I've ever gotten in my reading of Sherlock Holmes, which is great. I did not like the Valley of Fear. I still don't like it, even though I got to the end and I finished it. It took me 2 months to come back to it and to finish it because I didn't like how it was going. The twist I get, and I understand now what parts of it I didn't like, why I didn't like it, like how I see why those are necessary. That doesn't mean I still like this. I still hated the reading experience of this. This is my least favorite Sherlock Holmes anything. I really disliked it. And I'm glad it's like the last one, so that now I don't have any. So now I can just move on, and or it wasn't. I don't want to do that. I had to read the last 50 pages because since I got my new phone, I couldn't upload my audiobook by Stephen Fry, so I still need to figure that out for the next two, because there some glitch happened in the transfer or whatever. So I might have to talk to Audible or whatever. But and I listened to most of it by audio, but then the last 50 pages I had to read because I just want to get it done. And I'm glad I finished it. I still don't like it. I'm probably never going to reread it ever. But I've at least made progress in this series. As I said, I have two more two last short story collections, His Last Bow and the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. So again, I'm hoping this year to, if I don't get to it before Victober, I will probably finish it in Victober. If not, I will do one section hopefully earlier, maybe this summer, and then do the last section in Victober and finish it out. But we'll see. Anyway, that's at least Sherlock Holmes. I've made progress. I did not like Valley of Fear. I just liked it a lot because it was one of his stories where Sherlock Holmes was barely in it. It's just in the beginning, and then it's a story of what happens to this man who goes to this valley to work, and he's not portrayed as a very good guy, and he does a lot of things that you're like, I just didn't like it. I got it by the end, but I didn't like the journey, let's put it that way. So anyway, but I got it done on Sunday. And then I started Electric Idol by Katie Roberts. So this is the second book in the Dark Olympus series. So I read this in over I think I finished this Tuesday. I loved this one as well. This one's I really enjoyed this as well for many different reasons, different tropes and things like that. So we're following Psyche, who is Persephone's sister, younger sister, and she gets kind of caught up in Aphrodite's crosshairs because she gets caught in a kind of a compromising photo with Eros, who is Aphrodite's son. And so Eros is told, by Aphrodite, bring me her heart. And then it goes from there on how he decides to act and how she Psyche has to deal with it as well. I do love these Katie Robert books, as in most of them have it where the woman actually saves herself or helps with the ending. I do like that. I don't like the whole, rushing to hero. This hero is definitely a damaged one, and someone who is not, sure, at first he's doesn't come off very well, but I think this book is one of those great ones where you get to see below the surface kind of thing. And again, it's very much, the power hungry people, and then and the people who are not super she's not completely innocent, but she doesn't deserve what is happening anyway. So I really enjoyed this one. I'm not explaining that right, but this is it's good. Again, these are very as I said, great world building, lots of fun with the characters, with the banter. I love that. Good sexy times. It was I really enjoy this series. So I think I finished that Tuesday when I got home from work. And so then I continued and read the short novella it was 85 pages, story that came out in early March. So again, I think Neon Gods came out in September or October, and I read it in January. And then Electric God came out in January, and I pre-ordered as I was reading Neon Gods. So I got rid of, that was one of my pre-orders. Another pre-order I've gotten done this month, which is great. So I read, that was from January, and then this came out early March. So I got this downloaded from her website. It's just, I think that's the only place where it's available right now if you're signed up for her newsletter. And so I am now, because I want to know everything about her and her books. But anyway, I read Stoneheart, which is a Medusa and Calypso. Is that right? I think that's the name. Oh my gosh, my brain. Yeah, Calypso. Anyway, so it was a cute little female romance. It was really short and quick, and it wasn't, there's not as much stuff like the other two books. A lot of the world building. I would definitely read this after at least reading book one. Again, I read it after book two because that's when it came out publication order, but it's technically a 0.5 novella. So I would not read this one first, even though this comes before book one. I think it was really, you could either read it after the first book or the second, because you need to know more about the world before you read this book. I just don't think you want to dive into it. Anyway, so their story was cute. Medusa is an assassin for Athena, and she is going to kill Calypso, who was having an affair with Odysseus. Is that right? Yeah, anyway, so it was, and again, you have to understand, this is like real world, but with the names from Greek mythology. It's funny. Well, it's not funny, but I mean, it is, but I really enjoyed this. I'm not as much as the novels. I think there's just not enough time here to really build a lot of stuff. I think it was cute for the short story that we got and what happens. But I'm glad I read it. It was worth it to get that. So okay, so let's see. Oops, I'm gonna knock things over. Okay, then I was kind of fluctuating. There's a couple books that I've kind of looking at to start, I started one book, which I'll talk about in a minute. I had to put it down because I took it to work and I did read the first, I think, 30 pages. And then, well, I guess I'd read a little bit the night before, and then I read some at work. And I got home and I could not pick it back up. Like, I read it at lunchtime, which was fine. I didn't have any problem. And then I got home and I just couldn't pick it up. And I'll explain it more when I get to that book. But I decided to pick up another Katie Robert book because, as you know, I am in a binging mood. And I clearly have decided Katie Robert is the next author I'm going to binge after Shelley Lawrenston. Anyway, so here we go. So the next book I read by Katie Robert is The Dragon's Bride, which is the first book in a deal with a demon. So this just came out. I got the discreet cover because I like the discreet cover better than the one with the monster, or the dragon and the girl on the cover. I mean, it's a cute cover too, but not my style. I like this. Anyway, so I got the discreet cover when it came out in paperback. I also bought it ebook as a pre-order. So I count this as my pre-orders, even though I didn't technically pre-order this copy. But I decided it's on my list of pre-orders. So as I said, so far in April, I have read 3 of my pre-orders so far this year of the 5 that I've bought. So I'm only 2 behind, which is pretty good for me. As I said, that's one of my goals this year, is to read read what pre-orders I get. If if they're in a series that I'm caught up on, or catch up to them. Anyway, so I'm doing good on that. Anyway, so this is a very short novel, and we're following Briar, who has a very bad. She's in a very bad marriage, and she's trying to get out. And at her most vulnerable, right after she has had an altercation with her husband, which doesn't go well, she is approached by a demon who offers her a contract that she goes to a different dimension for 7 years, and has somebody's kind of mistress, like some kind of connect. I don't want to say slave or sex slave or anything like that, but it wasn't like that. It was like she will join another, kind of like another I can't even think of it, realm, and be there for 7 years with their leader, kind of thing. So she decides to go, and then she is auctioned off, kind of thing, or chosen by Soul, who is a dragon, and he's like a dragon / man. So there's like it's the world building's kind of interesting, talking about how there was more magic in the world when they had mated with humans. And so it's like they're kind of a cross kind of thing. And so she's brought in, and he is hoping to have children with her, but she is like, I don't want to have children. I just got out of the mad marriage, blah, 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 you know. So it's their kind of journey through that. Again, very sexy times with alien, or not alien, with a dragon man kind of thing. I really enjoyed it. I liked both the characters and the things that happened, or the plot of how things went and the way it went. I think it's definitely it's shorter. So again, I didn't like it quite as well as the Dark Olympus series. But I liked it, and I will definitely continue on to the next book, because I'm kind of curious how I'm going to deal with that one, because the next one is about the Kraken. It's the Kraken sacrifice. And I'm worried because I really don't like tentacles. I don't know if you guys remember the 90s and early 2000s, all the tentacle anime that was on, that a lot of us watched, and I hated all that. I liked horror stuff on the anime, but I hated, they were always tentacles. Anyway, so we'll see how the Kraken sacrifice. It doesn't come out until October though, so I have a long time to wait. But I've started a new series, and I'm caught up, and I got a pre-order done. So, a win-win, right? And then, so of course I started another series by Katie Robert. So I had bought Desperate Measures last month, because I wanted to try it. Again, I've heard so many things about this series. This is the Wicked Villains series. So it's like Disney villains, this is twisted to a mafia world of is Carver City. And we first start out with Jasmine, whose father had been one of the crime bosses of one of the areas in the town, and Jafar takes over, and he pretty much tells Jasmine that now that, you are mine, and, it's kind of, it goes from there. This is definitely was a surprise for me. I did not expect to like this one. I figured I'd like some of the later books in their plots and storylines are more appealing to me. This one wasn't Jafar and Jasmine, but again, it's all changed. These people, it's just like in the Dark Olympus series, they're like, the names are those names, but they're definitely different people. It's just lightly based on, the Disney stuff. So, which is great. This is, again, very sexy, very, as I said, it's not my tropes or the things that I like in, erotic novels or, really sexy ones. I would never say any of the things that happen between them. None of those are like what I like in the books that I read about this kind of thing over the years. But it really worked. And I am finding by the time I read this book, I've really come to understand there are some authors who can pull off the first person, multiple perspective, and some people who cannot. And she can do it, and I have no problem with her writing on it, because we get both. Again, all of her books have it. You get both the female and the male lead, or the two female leads, whatever the leads in her are. You get their POVs in first person, so it's a very close connection to them. But you get both of them, and I don't always like that, because first person to me, mostly because I've written so many books with that myself in my spare time for fun. And I always use just first person, like one perspective. And there's a way I do it that's my way of doing it. Anyway, and I like it in urban fantasy a lot because of the way that's what I wrote most of those with urban fantasy. So there's a way to do it. But this, I've never done it much with the romance erotica, but it just worked. And this book finally made me realize I really do like her way of writing it. I'm not going to be super open to like a whole bunch of others who do it as well. I feel like I could be more open to it, and I'm trying to get better at it, at reading that. I think that's one of my reasons why I'm having trouble finishing The Bone Starred Daughter by one of my favorite, my friends, Andrea Stewart, is because it's first person multi-perspective, and I'm just not used to it. And I think after reading these, I might be able to go back now and finally read her books, which, I mean, I'm halfway through The Bone Starred Daughter. I just need to finish it. But anyway, I'm going to get to that at some point. But So I really enjoyed this. I'm actually stunned at that. I would say this is like a 4.5 to 5. If you go by Goodreads, I had to put a 5 down, but it was like Storygraph, I did like 4.5. This was so close. It was just, I mean, it shocked me how much I enjoyed the journey on this one. And of course, what did I do? I bought all the rest of the books in the series. So they are coming, but they're not coming until Tuesday. So I ordered them on Thursday. I don't know why it was taking them so long. So I had to find some other books to read. So here is where things get kind of weird. So first let's talk first about a book that I'm in my audiobook, just because let's see here. Where is it? So just put it out there, and I only listened to it Sunday and Monday, and then I have not been in an audiobook mood the last couple months. I really haven't. I've read only one, and so I was trying to get back into it. I know that Tea and All the Books and her husband on their book club, no cover charge. Is that what it is? Oh, it's close to that. Anyway, this month I think they're doing Project Hail Mary by Andrew Weir. So I had it on audio, so I thought, I should just listen to that. So I am listening to this. I'm over a quarter of the way through. I am really enjoying this. I just need to get myself to listen to audiobooks. I haven't felt like it having it in my car, and then at work is just so much things going on that my brain hasn't been able to do it. But I did able Monday when I was doing something very boring about making labels for the parts room. So maybe this week I'll be able to do read some more. This again follows a man who wakes up and doesn't know what is going on, and he's on a spaceship of some sort, and he's trying to remember what's happening. So we get a lot of flashbacks as he does that, and we try to figure out why he's gone on this mission, and why is he alone now, and or what happened and stuff. And something just happened, which is probably why I stopped there, because I wasn't it was the end of the day on Monday, and I was like, okay, well, I'll listen to tomorrow and get the next good section anyway, because I'm about 140 pages in. So if that's kind of where things are starting to happen that I wasn't expecting. So I'm really enjoying this. I love The Martian, and I re-listened to The Martian just last September. They had it like free for a little bit on Audible Plus. So I listened to it then before it went away. And I'm so glad I did. I really enjoyed I read it the first time, watched the movie, and then I'd listen to the audio, which was awesome. I love that audiobook. And then this one's done by Ray Porter, so this one's really good as well. I'm really enjoying it. I just need to be in the mood. So I am hoping to get back to this one. The science fiction is just so good. I just love his way of doing it with the humor. And to me, I think it's different enough from The Martian. I mean, the voice, again, the writer voice is still there, but because the character is different and has different experiences in his life compared to Mark Watney, who is in the other book, in The Martian, I think it's different enough, and I'm really, really enjoying this. So I'm hoping to get to get farther into that, because again, I still have I think I still have 9 hours of that left. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, and then really quick, I'm just going to talk about the book that I had. I'm not DNFing. It's still on my currently reading, but I'm just not sure. So I started Empire of Sand by Tasha Shuri on Wednesday, and I really wanted to read this. This is definitely a book that's high on my priorities. I really want to. My brain just will not accept epic fantasy or anything that's real big world building. So the books that I was reading by Katie Robert, there's world building, but it's grounded in the real world. All of them. They're all the real world, but just twisted slightly, which is urban fantasy to me, which means it was easy for me to pick those up. And again, I really enjoyed those. Yeah. Anyway, this one is definitely, a different world, a different, setting of things. There's names for things, there's factions, there's different things going on. 30 pages in, I knew my brain was melting. So I am not, like I said, this is still on my currently reading. I probably shouldn't have even put it on my currently reading on Goodreads, but you know how I thought, okay, I'm into this, and then I stopped. I did like the beginning. I do want to continue this. If I feel like epic fantasy, this will be one of the first ones I pick up. I'm just going to put it aside for now, because right now, as I said, I'm getting close to the end of my stuff at work where I'm hoping things will calm down after April. But I need to get through this, and epic fantasy just isn't happening right now. So I am not going to attempt any more things that are considered epic fantasy, high fantasy, anything. I think urban and paranormal romance are about as far as I can go with the fantasy realm right now. So I am putting this aside, but I really want to read it. So that's nothing. It's nothing. I like Tasha Shuri's writing. This is my first book that I have by her. It's the first book in the Books of Umbra, I think is how it said, series. It's a duology. I've heard really good things about this book. Maybe not so much about the second book, but I know I'll read this and then I'll buy the second one if I get deep enough into this. I just can't yet. Like, I want to read this, but I just cannot. So this was a disappointment for me, not the book's fault. This is all me, and I know that, and that's why I put it down, going, I'm not forcing this, because my reading would have slowed way down and I wouldn't have got through all those books that I got through this week, because I couldn't do it. So then, so that happened Wednesday, and of course I went on to read the other Katie Robert books that I've showed. So I finished Desperate Measures Friday night after work, and then I was not sure what to read next. So I've started a whole bunch of books, or tried a chapter kind of thing. I did not film this because I'm bad at reading those. I've put out all the books that I've done try chapters, and I kept, and I have like 14 books that I still need to read. Anyway, so that's not, but I was trying to figure out what to read Saturday. Yesterday my brain was just all over the place and I had a lot of trouble. So I don't know if I should have picked up this book, but I just decided, if I'm having trouble struggling reading anyway, let's struggle through a book that I'm rereading. So I picked up Prudence by Gail Carriger. This is the first book in the Custard Protocol series. So again, I have all 4 books in this series. I want to finish this series this year. This is one of my priority series to finish. And I just don't know why I have a block on this series considering I like Gail Carriger so much, and I love the Parasol Protectorate. So this again is the next generation. We're following Prudence and Prim and Percy and I don't know how you say his name, Kunal? I don't know how you say that name. Anyway, they're on an adventure to India, and again, this is taking place in the late 1800s, but this is urban fantasy steampunk twist where they're going in a dirigible. Prudence was raised by several supernatural creatures. She is a different one herself. I'm not going to give any of that away. You need to read Parasol Protectorate. Okay, I would not read this without reading Parasol Protectorate. There's too many people who pop up, too many themes and things that happen. This is not a series you can read by itself. I don't think so. I think you should read the 5 books in the Parasol Protectorate before you get to this. So, anyway, I read this when it first came out, so I think I read it, it was 15? Yeah, 2015. And I have it, this is a signed copy because she came to Portland for that. So I have this book, and I have the other 3 books all in hardback. Again, she's one of, as I said, I keep saying 2, but it's really 3 now. I have to remember I buy my friends' books in hardback. Anyway, so I don't buy very many hardbacks, but hers I'll buy. So anyway, I got these, and I have them all. I just need to read them. So as I said, so steampunk, late Victorian. So there's all those social things going on, and also they're kind of wacky. They're the werewolves, vampires, and different things that they come across. Anyway, so it's slightly, there's the adventure of them going to India on a mission from, I don't want to give away anybody what they're doing, but it's funny what they're going for. They're going for tea, but they're getting caught up in a whole lot of supernatural things as well. So anyway, I really enjoying my reread. I didn't remember everything. Like, I have vague memories of what happens in the end, but I don't remember enough. It's been 7 years. So, anyway, so I have about 120 pages left. So I'm hoping to finish that out today. So that's it on that. And then to what I'm going to pick up next, because I have to wait for the Katie Robert books to come in Tuesday. So I won't get them until Tuesday night. Anyway, so I will probably pick up at least one of those right away. Learn My Lesson, which is the next book in the Wicked Villain series. I think Learn My Lesson is a Hades, Meg, and Hercules. That'll be fun. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that just to see how that goes. I have, as I said, I did try several books yesterday to figure out. So I'm not sure what I'm going to read. I have urban fantasy reread. I need to get back into the SPI files. I want to reread that. I tried Pines by Blake Crouch. This is a possibility. It starts out really interesting, and again, I hear it's kind of, did never watch the show. I picked it up because someone said it was kind of like Twin Peaks. I don't know, maybe not. Fortuna Sworn and A Lesson in Thorns are ones I've picked up so far this month in the mood that I'm in. So I might read this. This is more urban fantasy. I think it's a woman who's a nightmare, and it was very interesting. The beginning was really good, so I might pick that one up. A Lesson in Thorns is more dark romance kind of thing. I'm not sure how I feel about this one yet, but I liked the beginning, so we'll see how that goes. And then I also have Wolf Gone Wild, which is another urban fantasy with werewolves and witches, and it sounded good too when I started. So I only read like the first 15-20 pages on all these this weekend, just at different times, either trying to decide on Friday night or Saturday what I was going to read next. And these ones are all possibilities to pick up in the next week. But, you know, as I said, after I finish Prudence, which I should finish today, I'll pick up one of those probably to read. And if I finish that, I will pick up something else. But I'm guessing on Tuesday or Wednesday, I'll be reading Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert. But we'll see. Maybe one of these will all scratch whatever itch, you know, I'll move on and then I'll come back to that series. But definitely the Wicked Villain series, another series I'm definitely going to be trying to finish up pretty quickly now that I bought the books that are coming. And then I did not know Tone Topple was happening until midweek. I don't know what, I missed it. I missed the announcement. I missed, even on Twitter, I missed that. So, I'm not sure if I'm going to start my tome that I would like to read. It's running from April 14th to the 28th. It's put on by Sam at Thoughts on Tomes and several other people, but she's the primary on that one. And I don't know why I missed it this time. I think it's round 16. I've taken part in many of those since I got on BookTube. So I think I just missed the last one or two or something. So if I do, it matters on my reading. But as I said, I have plans next week of a book I have to read and an ebook I want to read as well. And those are not tomes. So I'm hoping that if I start this at the end of this week or if I start this next week, that's possible. So I'm probably going to read Middle Game by Shauna Maguire for Tome Topple. This is just over 500 pages. It's 528 pages. So I've never read this one. Shauna Maguire, again, the series I've read the most from her is on the Wayward Children series, which I just finished book 7 last week. So I really enjoy that series. I've read a couple of her standalones and even Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, which is one of her pseudonyms. But I've not read Middle Game. I need to get back to the October Day series. I only read the first one on that one. That's another series I need to binge. Anyway, so this one, all I know is about Roger and Dodger, and I think they're two connected. I think they're like siblings of some sort, but they're not near each other. And they're something about somebody wants to make them gods or make somebody a god through them. I don't have any idea. I've heard, mixed things about, some people really, really love this book and some people didn't get it at all. I would like to try it because I know Seasonal Fears is coming out in May, and that's the companion novel. I would like to, if I can, I would like to get to this during Tome Topple. So if I figure I might start it next weekend, or I might start it the weekend after. We'll see how it goes, but I just want to give you a heads up. I am going to try to participate in Tome Topple. I do love Tome Topple for making me read bigger books. And right now, again, I'm gravitating towards short books. So I would like to read some of them. Yes, baby. But this is the one I hope to get for Tome Topple. I don't think I'm going to hit anything else just because my mood is, this again is closer to an urban fantasy, but it's more science fiction, I think. So I don't know. I think this one, that's why it's maybe, I can maybe read it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Poor cat. Anyway, that's it. I'm sorry I talk so much. I did read a lot of different things. I did these are all series books. Isn't that just great? So the board, I've cleared it off. The only one is from last week when I finished Where the Drowning Girls Go. So this week, what did I do here? I continued in Sherlock Holmes and did that. I reread Neon Gods. So there's a reread there. I continued with Electric Idol and Stoneheart. I started The Dragon's Bride, so Deal with the Devil, and I started Desperate Measures. I think that's everything. And I just stabbed myself with the pen. Anyway, so we're starting out again with a lot of a lot of series books, which is fine. I think this is definitely going to be the year of series for me. I think I just need a break from the other things I was reading. I'm not sure what that says about anything, but I think just stress-wise has pushed me to come back to my first love of reading, which is mostly series. So anyway, these are what I've done so far. So funny. Anyway, so all series stuff. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. As I said, what are you guys reading? Sorry, this is so long. So much stuff to talk about, and I did finish a lot. And a lot of stuff I'm in the middle of, and a lot of stuff that I want to read. So anyway, we'll see what happens. So let me know what you're reading. If there's any of these of the books that are potentials for me to read, if I need to pick those up sooner rather than later, let me know. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.